Hi, this is Greg Jones, 1623 Custom Harmonicas, your Seydel technician and service rep. And in today's video, we're going to talk about kind of those annoying squeals that we'll hear on a diatonic, Seydel diatonics occasionally when we play overblows. And these squeals are common across all brands of harmonicas, but they're most notable when we play overblows. And the theory behind it is a little complex, but I think most experts have narrowed it down to what we call torsional vibration, which means a high frequency vibration that happens at the base of the reed. And that may be more than what many of you really want to know or care to know about, but I'll just demonstrate it. And it's going to be really noticeable, especially on and certain microphones pick up those tones or those squeals a little bit more. But if you'll just listen. That's 7 overdraw. You can kind of hear it there. It's not really near as noticeable on some of the overblows, but it's there and you can certainly hear it. But it's real noticeable on the 7 overdraw. So we're going to talk about a way that we can kind of mitigate that. And we can't really completely eliminate it, but we're going to mitigate it, all right? And what that means, we're just going to reduce it some, all right? So there's two ways that we do this. One, first of all, we've got to get the covers off. And I'm just going to do this on the 7 draw, all right? Do a quick demonstration. We're going to take the covers off. These screws, by the way, are standard Phillips, tiny, so let me get this over there, tiny Phillips head screws. That's the latest generation of Seydel cover screws. I'm using a standard Phillips, small Phillips head screwdriver. Anyhow, so I'm going to adjust the camera down and show you what we're going to do here. Right. So if you'll see, I'm going to mark it a reed. So if you'll see there, it's going to be the 7. And this was happening when I was playing the 7 overdraw. And so the first thing we do, we kind of, if we just lower that gap, some of that will help. That does help a little bit. So that's one way, is just kind of lowering the gap a little bit. But you can't lower it too much or the note will choke. So let's see if we get... Okay, it's still there. And so a quick little tip. I use what I consider to be valve glue, or you can use fingernail polish, really anything that'll stick. But this is what I use to glue chromatic valves with. And so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to put a little bit right there. Now, put it on a napkin or something, and I'm going to grab a needle, but you can use a toothpick or any other kind of anything you can use to apply it with. But what I'm going to do, I'm just going to dab a little bit in there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a little right there in the corner. Just a dab. I mean, just a little bit. Now, a lot of diatonic players think if a little works a little, then a lot must work even better. And that is not the case. If you put a lot in there, you're going to have all kinds of problems, even up to including changing the pitch of the reed. You just don't want to put a lot, just a little bit, very, very small amount. That's about right. I may even put just a little bit too much. That's why I use this valve glue, because when it dries, it cleans off really well. So if I put too much, it'll come right off. But this will stay on there even if it gets hot. So let's just see. It takes it a while to dry, but I think we might see if I get a little bit of improvement. You know what? I noticed that. Notice I'm not quite in that corner there. You're trying to plug up just a little bit of that hole right there. All right, so I still hear a little bit, but it certainly reduced it some. I think some of that is going to have to be taken up with gapping. I might move this around just a little bit. It's kind of hard to see. Let me put just a dab more in that. there in the corner there. You can do this on the blow side as well, and I'll probably do a little bit on this one. All right, so when I first hit the note, you don't hear the squealing as much, but and I'm not sure how much the microphone is picking up, but I found that this will mitigate it somewhat. Now, I don't want you to be fooled or misled into thinking that this makes a harmonica play any better. It doesn't. That you're not going to see improved response. It's not going to be easier to play standard, basic level bends or any of that. That is not the purpose of this. It's really strictly to dampen that squealing noise that you'll hear. And in fact, it could probably be argued that this may deaden the sound a little bit. And so unless you're a serious and skilled overbow player, you don't want to consider doing this unless you're really having a problem with that torsional vibration and squeal. Anyhow, I'm Greg Jones, your Seydel technical service representative. I appreciate you stopping in today, and if you enjoy this content, like, subscribe to my channel, and also stop by my website 1623customharmonicas.com. Thank you again.